I'm gonna start my 10-minute timer because I promised that all of my videos would be 10 minutes or less, and that's why this is officially the best 10 ooh, the best 10 ever. Alright, so I've been trying to determine what my first topic was gonna be. Yesterday I did a video welcoming everyone to my channel. My boyfriend looked at it and he was like, that's not your genuine self, you gotta do it over. Just have a conversation with the people. And so today my intention was to do a welcome video, but that's not where my mind's been, and so I'm just gonna talk about where I'm at. And hopefully this resonates with someone. Today I want to talk about spiritual pimps. It's a thing that I have seen is continuing to like be such a negative thing in the conscious community. If you were ever Christian, you've probably seen it there, where you have pastors and ministers and people like that who they use the information that they have to abuse their position of power. They use it to manipulate people, and they use it to do ill in our communities in places where they could instead be beneficial. And so recently, in my own experience, and then amongst other women that I've been associated with, and when I say recently, I mean like over the past few months, there's been like a continuous experience of like spiritual pimps. And by spiritual pimps, I mean either they're using spirituality to get women, which people tend to call that hotep niggas, or they use spirituality to falsely receive money, which I just call that abuse. And so let me start by saying thank you to all of the goddesses around me that are always like giving me great advice and leadership and love. In my own life, and in this video I'm not going to use any names, but in my own life I encountered some spiritual pimps. Like, it was disgusting. Like, I was in a situation where I came across someone and he wasn't spiritually pimping me, but I was watching him spiritually pimp other people, and I had to address him about it. And this person, their role was like they were placing themselves to be as a reader, which I don't denounce that they have any reading ability, but it was being abused in the sense of when they didn't have actual information on people, they would like try to give little context clue words to like hint and grasp and get people to give them information that wasn't there. And understand something, for me as a healer and as a dreamer, I love to use my abilities, right? I have dreams about people all the time, and I used to not tell them about them, and now I do. Like, I'll contact the people I have dreams about and say like, hey, I had a dream about this, I had a dream about that, let's break it down. But this person, if they didn't have any vision about the person they were coming into contact with, they would like create visions or create problems for people. Like, oh, it's something wrong with your heart chakra. Like, why? Because it's a woman? And at first it was like, okay, you know, maybe. But then it got to where I was around this person so much where it was like, wow, you're saying that to every woman you meet, and then you're telling these women that you were in a relationship with them in a past life. Every woman, like, you're trying to connect with all of them. And it was just disgusting for me. Like, it was disgusting to watch. I disassociated myself with this person, and I definitely like tried to give warnings to the other people around, like, stay away from this person, this is not safe. And so that was one form of a spiritual pimp that I met. I also want to talk about, before I jump to financial spiritual pimps or money spiritual pimps, I want to talk about female spiritual pimps, because I've encountered that too. And a lot of people try to just talk about the men, but they don't address the female spiritual pimps. Woo! I've seen women who will come to men and act like they need all this advice from them, like, oh my God, I'm dying of thirst type of women. Like, if you don't help me, I'm gonna continue to have the worst menstrual cycle of my life, and I just need you to talk to me for 5 hours at a time. Like, no, sis, that's not okay. Like, what? Like, literally trying to use that a man has knowledge as a way to pretty much be spiritually pimped, like putting themselves in situations so that they can try to get with a man by saying like, oh, you have this type of information, so I want it, I want it, I want it. So they're using the man's spirituality as his weakness because they know that he has like maybe a heart to actually serve and help and fulfill his purpose, and will try to make it seem like they actually desire his assistance just so that they can try to fuck him. Like, there's women who I've been coming across like basically telling men, if you put your dick in me, you'll be healed. Like, what? Y'all out here spiritually just abusing your pussy like that? Like, come on, like, our bodies are temples. The relationships that we have and the interactions that we have spiritually are used to manifest and to amplify. Now, I'm not saying that you have to limit that to one partner, but I am saying that it's more than just put your dick in me and you'll be healed. Like, what happened to, let me do some tantra exercises where I actually work on your heart chakra, where I actually work on helping to balance and heal the traumas that you have. Maybe like, hey, let me actually talk to this person. What happened to that kind of stuff? What happened to let me give you some things that help you like cleanse and detox your body? Everybody's just jumping to let me sell my sex. Now I want to talk about financial spiritual pimps. I had to get out of a situation because I was dealing with a financial spiritual pimp. Like, literally somebody who was trying to tell me that everything I was doing was for this divine purpose, and they were pretty much using me to help them get more money because business-wise, I'm freaking amazing, and spiritually, I have a lot of knowledge. So people really need what I have. And other people around me had even told me like, hey, something's not right. We're not getting good vibes. People that I really highly value their intuitiveness. And I started to like be more aware. And then finally, when I stood up for myself against being financially, spiritually pimped, it was like I was the fucking worst person in the world to this spiritual pimp. And I'm sharing it to say, like, one, don't feel bad for nobody else's bullshit. Two, honor the reflections of yourself, because you do want to understand that the interactions you have are reflections of you. In this particular situation, it wasn't a reflection of me being a spiritual pimp, but it was a reflection of the fact that I needed to heal from people that I accept in my life. People with abusive behaviors. People that are users, people that are abusers, to make sure that I'm actually not continuing to attract that type of energy. So, you know, there was another sister that I have, and she had the same situation, like was working for a spiritual business and thought, oh, this is great, this is a spiritual business. A brother as well that I have working for a spiritual business. Oh, this is great. This is a spiritual business, only to find out that the owner only gave a fuck about money, didn't really know shit about spirituality, and was only using fear to try and get people to buy what they had. Honestly, probably wasn't even using it themselves. That's really what I tend to find. Like, if people don't know a lot about how to use spiritual tools or what they do, or can't go into detail, or you ask them a question about it and they kind of jump into something else, probably a spiritual pimp. So I was saying that to say, I would like for everyone to be aware of guarding and protecting their energy, because there's men and women out here that are trying to take advantage of consciousness and advantage of people's spiritual awakenings. And I know that what can happen in situations like that is that people will be completely turned off from it, just like people were from Christianity. And that's not what spirituality is about. Spirituality is a inner journey that actually has nothing to do with anybody else. Like, if you can see me right now, I'm happy. Life is going forward. I understand that I'm continuing to operate in divine purpose. And I want the same for you. Oh, that's my timer. That means I've been talking for 10 minutes. So with that being said, peace and love. Continue to stay motivated. And don't let anybody, even if they're spiritual pimps, take away from your inner God or goddess. Continue to amplify and continue to build into your highest and greatest good. Peace and love.